Your mind's selfishness is your all-exclusive individuality. Your heart's selflessness is your all-inclusive universality. That is a quote by Sri Chinmoy. So often we take for granted our selfless contributions to this universe, from the smallest acts of compassion to acts of courage mirrored by those serving and fighting to protect their lives. We bring light into this world and gain most in return when we put forth action that better serves others. Today, we welcome the music and mind of hit Nashville, Tennessee singer-songwriter phenomenon, Essra Mohawk, and guest business professional, my friend Lauren Coe, who is founder of One Soldier at a Time. I'm Amanda Ashley, and this is episode 63, Altruism. Welcome to Afternoon Cocktail. And introducing to you the wonderful Miss Essra Mohawk. Essra, how are you? Welcome. You have to unmute yourself. I think you're. There we go. Essra, thank you so much for joining us. I can't tell you what a pleasure it's been researching you. You're incredible and a lot of fun to talk to and get to know. So, what are you going to perform for us for one of your first songs?
Well, this is a song that I wrote many, many years ago before I moved to Nashville. And I thought I was going to be moving to LA. And I started it in Philadelphia, where I'm from. And I was living in Bucks County, had a house there. And I went out to LA and wrote this, finished this song with Richard Feldman. And then I tried to record it a couple of times, and things always went wrong. We finally nailed it on my latest album, the one and only Essra Mohawk, that back when we had a life in 2019.
I love it. Well, you are the one and only. Take it away.
Okay, I hope I can do this. I think I knocked this a little. I would like you to be able to see the keyboard a little bit. There. All right. Anyway, the song is called Rolling with the Punches. I want to say that right after I wrote this song, finished it in LA, and it felt like that place was blowing up. I was like attacked 5 different ways by 5 different strangers, and I said this place is about to explode. And right after that was the LA riots, and so I
Oh.
ended up moving to Nashville instead of LA. Here's the song. I remember, babe, once upon a time, we all helped each other try to stay alive. Now you know the times have changed and everyone's out. Not for their own selves, they think that's what life's about. And when I think that I can't take anymore, and I start wondering what it's all for, that's when I turn to you. I need your warm embrace. Your love will get me through this old rat race. Baby, we can't change the rules. We're stuck here on this ship of fools, yeah. Everybody's rocking the boat. Everybody wants to grab somebody by the throat. I'm not any different from you. I keep rolling with the punches, but I'd like to throw a few now. Yes, I would. Romeo calls Juliet and she answers him. Love's the difference between sink and swim. Love is like the salmon, heals every room. Little baby, you came not a moment too soon. It's been this way since Adam and Eve. Sometimes a touch is all that we need. Maybe we can't change the rules. We're stuck here on this crazy ship of fools. Yeah, everybody's rocking the boat. Everybody wants to grab somebody by the throat. I'm not any different from you. I keep rolling with the punches, but I'm not to throw you. I keep rolling with the punches, rolling with the punches, rolling with the punches, but I'd like to throw a few. Oh, yeah, yeah, I would. If I'm living on this crazy ship before, everybody's rocking the boat. Everybody wants to grab somebody by the throat. I'm not any different from you. I keep rolling with the punches. Roll. Everybody's rocking the boat. Yeah, yeah. Everybody wants to grab somebody by the throat. I'm not any different from you. I keep rolling with the punches, but I'd like to throw a few, yeah. Everybody's rocking the boat. Yeah, yeah. Everybody wants to grab somebody by the throat. I'm not any different from you. I keep rolling with the punches, rolling with the punches, rolling with the punches, but I'd like to throw a few. Oh, baby, now, yes, I would. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Oh, yeah, yeah. Rolling with the punches, rolling with the punches, rolling with the punches, but I'd like to throw a few. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yes, I love it. Love it. So good. Essra, I love that you're still recording. So you said you just recorded that one?
that's on the newest album. Can I? Do I have one here? I
It's
should.
amazing. How many albums total have do you have?
It's not in one of these. I have 12, maybe more. 12 studio albums. I gotta fix this for you. There.
There we go. Now I can see you. It's incredible. Your music alone, I mean, we'll get into your history, which is like so mind-blowing. But I mean, your music alone really reminds me so much of like Carol, like you definitely like fit right in with like Carol King, Joni Mitchell, like definitely more Carol King-ish. Did you ever get to meet them?
It's a loaded question. Well, let's start with Carol because that's a little later. Yeah, I met Carol. Was and Jerry Goffin was a wonderful person. He actually had a. I was living in a hilltop ranch in Agora. Was that one in Agora? Yeah, the tourist ranch. Some of us called it. And Jerry Goffin had a piano hold up there just so I would have a piano to play there. And I met them individually because they were no longer together. Carol King, we had a little background. Her, me, and Gail from Joe Mama. Didn't work out, but it sounded like it could have. I don't know. We didn't get hired, but
Y-
we just had
Yeah.
one thing that we did. Some band, Lou Adler and Phillips. What's his name? um, was it from was he in Mamas and Papa's Guide? Someone Phillips. Anyway, they were producing and they didn't get there like for an hour while we sat and waited. It was pretty crazy. But moving on to Joni Mitchell, we used to hang out because we had the same manager for a while because he never really did anything for me. But I was the one that was held back. He had her. They had it was like David Geffen had brought me to Elliot Roberts. So David had Laura, and all these people I thought were my friends, but actually they were into holding me back. So I would not interfere with their markets. But me and Joni, I thought we were friends, and she would come over, and when I was supposed to play Woodstock, and that's another conversation. But when I came back from not playing there, but having been there, I told her all about it. And the next day, she came over and played me. She said, "I wrote this from your music." And she played Woodstock. So I inspired Woodstock. She never gave me credit because they were all into holding me back. And so they never tell the truth.
Oh, wow.
So she's not as good a person as you think. And that's why her karma has reached her. And she's really suffering from a horrible illness and it's because she really did a terrible thing. She got David Geffen to basically hold me back, and that's why I never got to tour. Um,
Wow.
and it was
I'm
basically she told. I didn't find this out. I didn't know it was her. I thought it was Laura. All these years, I thought it was Laura, but it turned out it was Joni. Maybe it was both of them, but I found out a little bit before one of my managers passed away, a couple years before he died. He told me, this is like, and now it's like, what, 2010 or something, that he tells me that back in 1973, he ran into David Geffen, and David told him that Joni told David that you ready, stole something from her. I don't steal from anybody. I mean, I'm a double tourist. I'm as honest as it
Oh
gets.
boy.
And so
Well,
I said, well, why didn't they come to me and tell me? Or why didn't you tell me in 1973 so we could nip it in the bud? But
yeah.
that's the way it went. Such is my karma, and such now is hers. But meanwhile, look at me at 72.
I love it. I love that at 72 you just rocked keys, like just how you rocked for us. It's incredible, and I aspire to be like you someday, doing the same. I hope I'm able to.
Oh,
Um,
why not? It's all a matter of spirit and will, I'm just the same person I've always been. Hopefully, a little wiser, a little maybe better. I hope. That time helps us to, gives us time to. Life gives us time to refine our natures and hopefully reflect enough to see that there's room for improvement, and then do the job, do the work, keep doing
sure.
it. As long as we're here, there's work to do.
Amen to that. Essra, I wanted to ask you. So, I mean, you were brought up in Pennsylvania. You've obviously lived all over throughout your career, and you did extensive touring.
No,
Can you?
no extensive touring.
Yeah.
I was blocked from touring, but I did individual things here and there. It wasn't until 2011 that I finally got to do a few things in Europe and some festivals
Wow.
there, Zappanel in Germany, and Rochefort in France, and I got to see a few different countries there. But and I played in, I would say maybe 17 or 18 different states, but each are individual things that were set up by individual people, myself and others. I never really had an agent or an agency.
So when didn't Frank, you were signed under Frank Zappa though, right? Like when you recorded your actually, so your actual name, you've gone under a few names, but your actual name is Sarah, right?
No,
I read
Sandra. Sandra.
Sandra.
Yep.
Sandra. So what made you not, just record under your name?
Well, let's see. My first record, which came out in '64 when I was 16, um, they just had me make, they said, make up a name. And so I said Jamie, and they said Carter. And so suddenly I was Jamie Carter for not very long. When I was signed to Frank, when I was doing that first album, uh, I lived with the receptionist at the studio, Apostolic Studio in New York, and she called everyone by their initials. Her boyfriend Jerry, and he's now my Facebook friend after all these years. Uh, he has a different name now, but but anyway, she called him Jay, and because I was Sandy, she called me S, and because I was her roommate, she called me Essie. So I thought, well, Sandy stood for Sandra, Essie stood for Essra, and that's what happened. I put the extra S in there so that people wouldn't say Ezra.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Didn't
I love
help.
it. Now, do you come from a musical background? Did your family, anybody in your family play music? I mean, what inspired you to learn piano? And you play a few other instruments as well, right?
Mandolin and guitar. I'm told that all of my grandfather and his siblings, they all used to play something. And what did he play? A balalaika he played. And my uncle played the accordion. But my parents
Ah,
didn't play anything, but they sang and they wrote
yeah.
songs together. Songs like "Why do I feel the way that I do?" That, swingy, neat 40s kind of stuff. That drink was supposed to help my throat. I think it made it worse.
So, so how did you end up? I mean, could you tell us about your first encounter with Frank Zappa? I mean, how did
Let me finish
You
about the songwriting. So
okay, sorry.
I'm sorry, I coughed. I'm kind of stopped my own story, but so they wrote songs together, and lots of times they'd be stumped for a rhyme, and I'd be like, 8 years old and providing the rhyme. So I could always provide a rhyme when they needed one. And so I wrote my first song when I was 8, and then I wrote another one when I was 12, and finally when I was 13, they got me a piano. Now, not this one. I got this one myself later. My change of heart, maybe. But they finally got me a piano when I was 13, and I wasn't really good taking the lessons. Were stupid. The lessons were stupid. But within a year, by the time I was 14, I was writing, filling up books with songs. And I always said about my parents is when they stopped writing songs together, they drifted apart.
Aw.
They had nothing else in common. If they had just kept playing music, pulls people together, in a way that you don't have to know anything else except the music.
Yeah, certainly. I definitely agree with that. So when you got into your early teens, I mean, is that when you started performing out?
Yeah, there were some coffee houses in Philadelphia downtown that I used to go to, and then when I was 16, I spent some time in Atlantic City. I did portraits, boardwalk portraits, for a living there, and I rented a little apartment on the New York Avenue. God, that was fun. And so, what was the question?
Oh, when you started performing, like what kicked off
Oh,
your
yeah, I was
performance career?
actually right, and on New York Avenue, I believe it was there. There was a little club there called the Ins and Outs, and I played there. So yeah, I would go out and perform. What was the one in the Gilded Cage was the one in Philadelphia. Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. And then, so in 1967, that's when you actually met Frank Zappa. Can you tell us a little bit about your first encounter and what it was like, and how everything came about between the two of you?
Well, there's a lot of magic. There's some things in my life are tragic, and some things are magic. And I had a year before I met him, I had gone to New York with a friend and seen him play, and Jeremy Steig and the Satyrs opened to him, and they were both great and a wonderful experience. I was on acid at the time, me and my friend. And then the following year, I ended up in both of those bands.
Oh my gosh. I just couldn't imagine, like, I mean, to be a part of that time period just seems, I don't know. I couldn't even imagine it. I mean, the drug flow. I mean, do you ever, how do you, like, looking back at that time, obviously there was overdoses with some major people, but are you like grateful to be alive? And I mean, how did you feel like,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely, absolutely. I could have died many times. I did things that could kill you, but there's always someone there to save me. And
Yeah.
the last time that happened, I was so grateful. I think that person is now dead. So many people are dead, but that I know and that I don't know. I mean, there's so many people dying. We can talk about that later. Uh, but it's just I was very fortunate that I wanted to explore. And it was easier for me to walk away from hard drugs, maybe because I didn't really have a psychological addiction. I was more, and physical addiction to me is nothing. So for a few days, you feel like you have the flu. There's a bunch of babies out there that make a big thing out of something that shouldn't be. It's just so it's just an excuse for them to keep doing it. I just didn't like the company it made you keep.
Yeah.
Hard drugs. But there's nothing wrong with marijuana or any of the derivatives of the hemp plant.
Did you, and Frank Zappa actually, he didn't do drugs, right? I don't think most people
No,
know
no.
that.
And I have a funny experience about that. So anyway, how I met him is I went. My friend Cal Schenkel, he was like my college sweetheart. Even though we only spent 6 weeks in college before we quit, we are going to go to California. He went without me. He came back. We got together again. Two girls visited him from LA and asked me if I wanted to come with them to New York for the weekend. I went with them, and we were walking along Bleecker Street. and there was Frank Zappa. Meanwhile, Cal Schenkel, who ended up being Frank's artist all those years, because I put them together. What happened is Cal had introduced me to the Mothers. He got that Freak Out album, and I loved it. And then, of course, I went to see them, and then next thing you know, I met him, and I was in the band. And one day, Frank says to me, he was tired of doing all the artwork and everything himself. I know what that's like. And so he said he needed someone to head his art department. I said, I know just the guy. And I went to Philly and Cal. We got a portfolio that I knew Frank would love together, brought that to Frank. Frank said, yeah, go get him. Got Cal, brought him to Frank, and they were perfect together. They were like two sides of the same coin, the passive artist and the aggressive band leader.
Yeah. And what would you say like I mean, could you recall like one of your fondest memories of having had performed and been a part of the Mothers of Invention?
Oh yeah, so I guess I really enjoyed. He chose one of my songs for the band to perform,
Oh
and
wow.
that was the Arch Godliness of Purposeful Magic, and it's on that first album. And I can show and tell. They're right here. I can just grab one and show you because it just was reissued again in the UK. Beautiful job with all kinds of bonus tracks and stuff. That happened also last year. It came out like right after my new album. Do you mind if I just show you these? They're right,
Sure.
they're right here. I just have to grab one. Pardon me. Do you hear the little birds? It's really nice outside here. The birds.
And for
Yeah,
those back home, Essra is actually in Nashville, Tennessee. She's been living there for many years now, probably about 25 years or more than that.
27 years.
27. My goodness. I love Nashville.
Where's that new album? Well, I have to reach in here for one. I keep giving them away, and then I don't have one to show you. I'm sorry about this. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, here we go. I'll have to get you some copies of these. But
Oh,
here,
I'd be honored.
Mountain. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, okay, this came out last year. That's the has the Rolling with the Punches on it, finally recorded correctly. And then two this came out in two different places, two different reissues. Got this one was
And
reissued.
this is the Mothers of Invention, or this is
No,
your
this is
own?
when I was signed to Frank, my first album.
Oh, wow.
It has the reason I bring it up because it has that song "Arch Godliness of Purposeful Magic" on it. Yeah. So that's that. That's enough of that. Enough of that.
What what has like having the musical support of such legendary musical figures like I mean aside from Frank Zappa, Jerry Garcia's band you performed and sang with for some time. I mean, what was it like to have the support of such legendary figures? I
I
couldn't
didn't
even
have
imagine.
support. I was support. I mean, I was
Yeah.
just a background singer. I was a hired hand. I don't. I knew the other guys more than I knew him. I mean, not like Jerry Garcia, but Grateful Dead, because I opened to them the first time they played in the East, Cafe Go Go. So I guess they wanted the manager of the club and the man and Frank's partner found a way to save money by having me be the opening act for everything. And on the weekends, I was doing 9 sets a night because I was doing three with the Mothers, three opening to the Mothers, and three opening to whoever was playing at the Go Go.
Wow.
See, the Cafe Go Go and the Garrick Theater were, when Go Go was downstairs and the theater was upstairs.
I mean, who are some of your favorite people to open up for? I mean, I saw you open up for
Cream,
Cream.
cream.
Cream? I was gonna say, I figured that had to be one of them. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
it was their first time, in this country, and it was wonderful. I mean, Jack Bruce was really it. He was.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he's gone. But across the street, there was a bar we used to hang out, so dug out, and he came in and he came up to me, and because I had opened to them, He said, I really respect your music. And I said, no, I should be saying that to you.
Aw. That's sweet. What about
What?
Jackson Brown too, right? You've opened for him
I've
and
never
you
opened. I didn't. Well,
oh, no.
what do you think? What do you mean by open?
I mean, I know that, other stuff as well. I don't know how much you want to get into that, but
Me and Jackson,
um
we were just on a personal level. Yeah, we would play back and forth our songs for each other when we first met and all. And we both had see the same producer who ended up being my first husband because he basically drugged me and took me to Vegas and married me before I would hook straight. I was hooking up with Jackson.
he, he put a ring on it. He made it official, right?
Yeah, he did. And I thought to myself, I was giggling. I didn't really take it seriously. But then when Jackson came to see me after I got back to LA, I said, I can't be with you anymore. I married Barry.
Uh, well,
Yeah, well, and then I hadn't seen him for years and years, and I went to hear him play through Ryman, was it? I guess, and he didn't he was talking to someone else, and all of a sudden he saw me and he went, "That's is that you?"
aw,
He walked away from who he was talking to, and just came across the room with his hand out to touch my face and make sure I was
aw,
here, and he gives me this cold, this soulful kiss, and his first words to me was, "Well, how long were you with Barry?"
wow. So that love never died, apparently.
So I went home and I wrote a song called Unfinished Business, and that's also on the new album.
I love it. How many tracks do you have on your new album?
Thanks for asking. Let me see. I don't, I don't know. Oh, let's see. Let's count them together. Oh, look good. They're numbered. That makes it easy. 12.
Yes.
12.
12.
12.
I love it. And you, our first conversation over the phone, I mean, you were saying you actually have to make an effort not to write music, right?
Oh,
Because like
God.
you,
Yeah. Look
the
at the
music just
sound.
pours out of you.
I don't know if you can see this, but I have like all these lyrics and all these notes and books full of stuff. And upstairs, of course, by my bed and on my night table is all these tablets and books and stuff. Full. I have two suitcases full of writings in the garage.
It's amazing. My gosh. I mean, how many songs do you think you've written total?
Over 800. I stopped counting around 800. So
Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I
Let's
have
talk about, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have a song list that I try to add to when I write something, but I've been getting pretty lackadaisical about it all. I try not to write because I write right now, for instance, I have about 36 songs I'd like to record. More because I wrote another one, which I'm not sure whether I'm going to play the guitar song or that new song, but so I wanted to get 12 or 13 of them recorded, but then the pandemic and everything hit. And so I'm sitting on all these songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to write anymore. It's so easy for me. I grew up writing songs. Let's face it. It's just like a second nature for me.
Yeah. I would say so for sure. I mean, so the songs that you're writing and recording, are they more for, are you doing it just as for personal, reasons, like you're writing it to just kind of execute your feelings, or are you actually shopping these songs to other artists to pick up,
I've been very
different
lazy.
labels?
I've been lazy. I make notes about who I should shop this one or that one to, and then I don't follow through. I need someone else to do that for me. You want to do that for me?
Yeah.
Because I just I get lazy about it. I get just into daily life, and I don't push forward as much as I probably should.
Well, I mean, to be fair, as you could take a break, and enjoy some quiet too to yourself. So, I mean, you've worked a long career, so be fair to yourself. You deserve a break.
Yeah, I got some
Um,
gold and platinum. I got some gold and platinum on the walls back there, so it's not a lot, but you know.
yeah, you did just fine. Let's
It's
talk
called
about
the
Schoolhouse Rock.
called a house, a car, a piano.
Did
uh,
good.
So
So your vocals had actually been featured on the popular educational and musical cartoon TV series Schoolhouse Rock in the 70s.
mm,
Last week's election mark the 100th anniversary of Women's Suffrage Act and women's right to vote. With a new female vice president on the rise, do the recorded political songs of your past, like "Suffering Till Suffrage," does that take on new meaning to you these days?
Well, coming into this year, I was excited about it being the 100th. I thought, well, this is going to be great for me. They're going to be playing this all over the place. This is going to be the big deal of 2020, the 100th anniversary of women's right to vote. Nobody cared. I saw it once, like briefly on NPT, and that was it. I thought, oh, good, they're going to be playing it. No, because how could we got the pandemic, we got the crazy leader,
So much going on. Yeah.
one thing after another, and so the 100th anniversary of women's right to vote seemed to go, but the spirit of it did something because we have a female vice president. So the spirit of it being the 100th anniversary, there was probably more women voted this election than any previous election.
Yeah.
Not because it was the 100th year, but then again, underlying maybe an underlying spiritual cause for the women to rise up more than they have. And there's still a lot of work to do. See, I'd like to talk about this a little, if that's okay.
Sure.
Coming from Philadelphia, I never experienced this second-rate citizenship that women seem to have everywhere else. Philadelphia was truly Philadelphia, city of sisterly love, brotherly love, gay love. Everything was free and open. As I grew up at a kitchen table where my mom had the coffee. Everybody loved her, and there was gay people and Christian people and Jewish people and black people and white people. We were all together. I never thought anything about it. It seemed to me right. Then when I went to other places, and especially when California, I thought California was going to be even more enlightened than my city, but no. The men treated the women differently, like it was back in the old West or something. Yeah. I remember hanging out. I was living in Mendocino for a while. I was hanging out in the living room with a bunch of guys and talking. I never thought anything about, because my lifestyle is more like a guy, I guess. And apparently all the women were in the kitchen dishing me for being out there talking to the guys instead of being in the kitchen preparing stuff. I don't know. I know how to write songs. I was never taught how to be a domestic. I'm sorry about that because doesn't come easy for me taking care of the things that other people do daily, and it's easy for them because maybe their mother showed them how to do it or something. But no, I'm on my boyfriends taught me how to cook and clean.
That's a nice thing to be taught though from them, like I think it's typically rare. Right? Maybe not.
Art Garfunkel taught me how to make spaghetti sauce.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love it.
My mom made great spaghetti sauce, but she never showed me. But Artie did. And but now of course you just buy it in a jar. I don't bother.
Yeah.
I don't start from scratch anymore.
Essra, I mean, do you ever have to pinch yourself? I mean, your career, just reading about you, like you said, you have platinum hanging on the wall. I mean, you've written hit song for Change of Heart, which is, I love that song. It's a great Cyndi Lauper tune. Was on her True Colors album, right? A huge song for you. Tina Turner, you've written for, you've performed, but Jerry Garcia Band, Frank Zappa. I mean, John Mellencamp, you sang with, Kool and the Gang. I mean, reflecting back on your life, what's it like? Like, does it even feel real sometimes?
Well, a lot of it I can't even remember. Yeah, I forgot all about the Kool and the Gang thing until I got a check. At first I thought it was a mistake, and then I remembered that I did this thing with them in New York. Yeah.
Wow, it's so impressive.
I got picked on for being white. My life is in reverse, I'll tell you. My life really is in reverse, but I've always stood up for whoever the underdog was, and whether it was brought to my. Another thing I forgot, and was brought to my attention, is that I stood up at a place called a restaurant called Linton's in Philadelphia, because a few white guys were picking on a black guy, and I just jumped up in their faces and stood up, you know. But I did the same thing for a little white girl in the halls at school when she was being picked on, and like bigger girls, and I stood up for her, and I got beat up. But yeah, it's just that I'm always going to stand up for what's right, and I my mom was always afraid of that I had no fear. I was fearless, which
It's-
I should have had more fear. And I wouldn't have said some of the things I said that got me in trouble.
I mean, is there like, you know, based off of what you just said, I mean, if is there any advice you would give your younger self, like looking back, or if you could maybe go back in time and have done anything differently, would you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I have
Yeah.
a list. I have a list.
Yeah.
When Art Garfunkel was doing Catch 22, he said to me, Essra, this is your world. Let me introduce you to these people. And I said, I just want to do my music.
Yeah.
Well, what it was, I call it that thing on a spring. Um, it was waiting to happen. It was from something that a way I was mistreated in high school by the teacher that was the head of the drama club or whatever. And I was told, and maybe it was a lie, maybe it wasn't even true, but I was told by another student who was my friend, I thought, that he gave me the best rating and then wrote on the back of my card, no casting ever.
Mm. Oh
And
my goodness.
he just took a dislike to me. And so I just swallowed it, like so many things in my life that I just swallowed. I just took it, I just took it. And it was like that thing on a spring. And when Artie said that to me, out it came. I just wanted, the truth is I wanted to act. I loved acting. I was good at it. But it was cut short because of a horrible teacher, pock-faced teacher named Mr. Moss. He's dead now.
Oh boy.
So much for that.
Oh, so much for that. Hey, I have to ask you. So today's theme is altruism. I mean, how has living a life of music inspired you to altruistically live?
I apparently have contributed in a positive way to many people's lives through my music. And that feels, I get letters of appreciation. Some have actually named their children after me,
Wow.
so I know I've had a strong effect and a good one. I don't, maybe they just happen to hear a certain line at a certain time that they needed to hear that thought. But somehow my lyrics have connected, with people, so that that's the best I can do. I also, of course, I give to charities like the or anything that's for animals, wildlife, the environment. I do that. That's my little altruistic private thing that I don't. My music is my gift to people. I feel people need to stand up for themselves, and I even have a song called "Stand Up." I feel that people have the wherewithal. Now I know not everyone does. I know people personally who just don't have the same wherewithal that others have. We're not all created equal. We have equal rights, but some people are taller, some people are faster, some people are smarter, some people are prettier. There's some people are healthier. And there's all the opposites of those things. So some people are disabled. There's so many things that can happen to keep a person from being that 100% that some people can be. So that's why we have to really give a lot of slack to humankind, because they aren't all equal. They don't all have courage. Most of them are just looking for someone to give them the answers. And
Yeah.
and then you have a few people who try to lead in the right way. And then you have those who take advantage, which we just had 4 years of someone just for themselves. And that's very sad, but fortunately, it's not for long.
Yeah. Well, Esther, I cannot thank you enough for giving us your time and for sharing your stories and your music with us. It's such a pleasure to get to know you. Um, could you just tell our audience where they could find out more about you? And I mean, she's got countless videos on YouTube, and if you just Google her, she's on Wikipedia. You can find out. There's plenty of avenues to find out more about Essra. But she also has a Facebook page as well. If you all would be kind enough to go and like it and check out more information about her.
That would be
Essra,
the Essra Mohawk Music page is the one that you can, please like it, and I post whatever's going on when there's anything going on, and also like Amanda said, you can just put my name into any search for, just Google it, or and page after page and after page will come up. A lot of stuff you'll see that I have no idea of because I can't remember all the things that are online about me. Every now and then, very rarely, I'll take a look and go, oh yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Essra. It's been a pleasure. We're going to bring Essra back towards the end of our program to close us out with one last song. In the meantime, I'm going to introduce to you my good friend, Miss Lauren Coe. She is the amazing founder of One Soldier at a Time. Lauren, happy Veterans Day.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yes, I hear you.
And you can see me okay?
I can. Where are you?
Oh, I am at Applebee's in Webster on Empire Boulevard. We're set up here today. And, oh, hey, and there's Josh. Hang on. Can you see?
Hi,
there's Josh. He's the manager. They have been supplying us with drinks and what have you to hook us up. And
Nice.
just checking us, make sure if we need anything. It's a little windy, as you can see.
So what are you guys doing there?
We are actually handing out, we have some of the cards here. So I have some folks here. I got,
Hi.
there we go. And hang on. If I'm close, got to have my mask on. And we're handing out, see these cards? Want to show them the cards? So we've got a whole bunch of different cards here. And as the veterans are coming up, we are wishing them a happy Veterans Day. We're trying to find out what branch they're in because we have gifts to give them depending on what branch they're in. And then they get one of the handmade cards that were made by different groups. We had ESNL that made a boatload. And then we also had, I can't say from what organizations, but we had some special needs organizations that came together and made us some fabulous cards, all handmade cards. And I'm just so grateful and thankful. And we're able to bless these veterans every time they come up and give them a card, give them a little gift. And we cheer for them and root them on.
That's awesome. So sweet too. I'm sure they'll appreciate that and it'll tug at their heartstrings. Tell us a little bit about One Soldier at a Time. I mean, what inspired your mission to begin this organization?
Well, originally, I had started about 14 years ago, actually 15 years ago. A friend of mine her son was in the Marines, and 2 weeks before he was slated to come home, sadly, he didn't make it. And he left behind a 5-year-old daughter, and they started something called the Molly Fund to help her with her education. So I gave 10% of my income that month to help support the project. I'm thinking, wow, I really wish I could do more, but I was pretty well broke. So I did what I could. And then shortly after that, another friend of mine, her son went into the Marines as well. He did come home safe and sound, but while he was there, she started a project called Full Circle Home, honoring the local military moms and wives with gifts during the holidays. I'm like, wow, that is so great. More people should do that. And I felt like I really got that tap on the shoulder that says, well, why not you? And I said, well, I may not be able to do what she can do, but I will just do me. So that's pretty much what we did. And we started, my finger's over it. Sorry. We started with Valentine's Day, adopting about 22 military moms and wives. And Then we started sending sun care packages overseas, about 200, 250 every single year. And that's literally been 14 years. And
Wow.
then we have PTSD homes, and we supply hygiene packages for all our veterans in the PTSD homes. And then this last year, we added doing Christmas stockings for veterans in VA hospitals. And right now we have 200 stockings that we're going to be giving to the VA hospitals. We have 47 going to women that are struggling with PTSD. And our goal is to adopt 200 more, because we found out that Wyoming and Bath VA hospitals are really, really struggling. They literally have nothing. And these veterans are grateful for anything they can possibly get. So like we have people that are actually putting money in, making donations here right now. And every penny is going to go to support these stockings that we're going to be able to give to the VA hospitals.
Doesn't it just baffle you, like, that, there are places like this that, I mean, these veterans, like, they put their lives at risk for us, just to kind of peacefully carry on with our everyday lives, and they're almost our invisible heroes for the people that we're not personally, that connected to, that is in the military or in the armed forces, so it's crazy to think, that there's people every day fighting for our freedom, and that they just really don't get the respect. And I never feel like there's not enough that we could do for them to thank them in return. And it drives me crazy to hear stuff like what you just said.
Ips. And I got to add, people don't realize that when someone decides to go into the service, they literally are writing a blank check to the government, to everyone in the United States, up to and including their lives. That's what, when they sign, I mean, they're literally putting their lives on the line. They don't know how they're going to come back, if they come back at all. They leave their families behind. And it's hard. I mean, just for me, just being a military mom, I was a mess when my son was underway, not knowing where he was. But then you have other people that their children are gone for, or husbands, 9 months, a year. And they're left trying to hold down the fort. And it's hard. It's just a blessing that we can stand in the gap for them and recognize them as the hidden hero, that they're not alone, and also be able to do what we're doing. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. Oh, me too. We all should be grateful. I think it's these little things that we take for granted, and it takes a day like today, like I feel like every year we get slapped with the reminder, oh, it's Veterans Day. Sure, it's nice to have a day off, but if we truly, remember why we had this day off, and why, reflect on what actually brought us here, it's incredible. I mean, you are no doubt no stranger to acts of selflessness. I mean, what has founding One Soldier at a Time taught you about yourself and about the benefit of spreading kindness?
Sorry, I was waving goodbye to some folks that we gave cards to. I think one of the big things that I didn't expect to get emotional. Just to really appreciate the sacrifice that, oh my gosh. Sorry. The sacrifice that people that didn't even know me were willing to make. They don't know me. They've never met me, but they're putting their lives on the line, and just helped me just to appreciate others more, and to understand that people have struggles, and we all have disabilities of some sort. Take it easy, folks. Thank you. I mean, we all have some type of a disability, and disabilities is just another name for ability. You have abilities somewhere else. And a lot of these, veterans that come back, but they are struggling with disabilities, whether they have lost a leg, an arm, or maybe they came, or both legs, whatever, but they came back maybe physically whole, but mentally they're really struggling. And it helped me to realize that there's a greater need out there, and to be more sensitive to triggers for other people. And I think it's just really helped me to be more sensitive and aware. And I think I've grown as a person to think about others and more than myself.
Sure. That leads right into my next question. I mean, I was going to ask you, what personal growth, have you witnessed in yourself since, beginning the organization? And I can only imagine, you're touching so many people's lives, and in turn, they're, touching ours. And you could only, there's only room to grow from everything that you've been doing. And aside from that, you do such a wonderful job like every year. Thank you for including me. And I always appreciate performing for the veterans and for your cause, because I think it so often gets overlooked, the importance of these people and what they have sacrificed for us, and your benefit every year. This year was a little, even with this year being weird, you still had such a successful turnout and outcome, and you're pulling in money for these vets and for such a good cause. So thank you for what you do. And yeah.
Well,
What do
I
you?
gotta tell. Well, I want to answer your question, but I also want to just address something else that you mentioned, and that I don't think people understand is the type of giving heart that you have. People don't realize that everyone that came out to support the event, no one was paid a penny. Literally not one. And you never once asked what's in it for me. Never once. You're just like, oh, when is it? I'll be there. And you just come to the plate every single time. I am so grateful for you. I'm grateful that you have me on here today, but I'm grateful to have your friendship and your support of this project. Words cannot express. Seriously.
Oh, thank you. Likewise. I'm really grateful to have you in my life, and yeah, to me, it's not a matter of question of what's in it for me. It's more of, like I'm grateful to have an opportunity to feel like I can do something small, that contributes to a greater whole. So yeah, any opportunity. And I think, for all those back home listening, like, please, make sure you support this cause and all. There's so many other organizations as well, but locally here in Rochester, make sure you check out Lauren's cause. And, she really does such a great job and brings really great music together and people together for the sake of, recognizing these courageous people. What do you take the most pride in having accomplished, Lauren?
Well, to kind of backpedal a little bit, you asked me about personal growth.
Uh-huh.
The one thing about personal growth that I didn't mention that I was thinking about is that realizing, I'm sorry, that's a car making a lot of noise, is realizing that it's not about me. That when I go to these businesses and I ask them to help support the project, as much as it literally, I would rather give birth. Okay. Let's just be for real. I would rather give birth than go and ask anyone for money for anything. But I figure if our military can take bullets for me, the least I can do is put myself in the line to get a no. Or deal with rejection or embarrassment or whatever. So that's been a big personal growth thing for me. Take myself out of the equation and just realize who it's for and just do it anyway. So like 20 seconds of courage,
Sure.
So
Does it surprise you how giving the community is? Like in the end, like you organize all these baskets for like the raffles. It's awesome to see like how many businesses pull together and what people are willing to give. Does that ever blow your mind?
I will tell you, it always blows my mind. I don't take any of it for granted. I'm in awe every time. It's almost, how do I put it? I'm not surprised, but I am surprised. because I mean, I got to tell you, people in this area are so giving. I don't think people realize. I think people just want a platform of how can I be a part of something. They all want to be a part of something. And I think we give people a place to play, whether it's making cards or helping out. Like we have the folks back here. Hang on, if you can see, they're at the table and they're donating their time and their talents to greet people, or they want to donate a service or finances. I mean, people really all want a place to play. And I think it's great that we can give people that opportunity to play wherever they can.
Sure. And to do it for a good cause. It's
yeah.
Awesome. What's up and coming for One Soldier at a Time? What's next?
What's next? Well, we're going to be raffling off a Kate Spade bag.
Nice.
It's gorgeous. It was actually oh, sorry. It was actually a prize that I won, and it's beautiful. I was actually going to have it out here today, but I just had I just couldn't do one more thing. But it was just really cool. But the other things we're doing is we are adopting 417. Yes, that is not a typo. 417. We have 100 local military moms that we're giving the 12 days of Christmas to for, moms and wives. We have 47 female veterans we're giving a gift to that are getting beautiful stockings. We have 70 veterans in the VA PTSD homes. And then we currently have 200 stockings to give to Marines, probably. Sorry. And then she goes, "What branch were you in?" He goes, "Grr." I go, "Probably Marines." And then we have 200 stockings that we're giving to veterans in the VA hospital, but we really need to adopt 200 more. So we're looking to do 617, but right now we have 417.
So where could they purchase these tickets, the raffle tickets?
They can go to onesoldieratatime.net and they can click on donate, and just in the comment section, say it's going to be for the Kate Spade bag. Tickets are going to be 1 for 10, 3 for 20, or 10 for 50.
Hey, you guys back home, that's a nice Christmas gift for a lovely lady in your life.
Oh.
So it's worth the gamble for sure, and it goes towards a good cause. So make sure you check out onesoldieratatime.net. And could our audience also, if they want to take part or volunteer, is that where they go as well?
Oh, yeah, they can go there and then they can send me a message. Okay. Or they can even go to our One Soldier at a Time on Facebook.
Yes, make sure you all like that page as well, One Soldier at a Time. And you have an Instagram page as well. So thank you, Lauren, so much. Good luck today. Is it cold out? I haven't even left my house.
No, I'm just wearing like an Under Armour white shirt and then my One Soldier at a Time t-shirt.
Nice.
So, and I have on my boots, but hang on. Let's see.
Hey, ooh.
I
might have to borrow those.
Oh, I love my cowboy boots. So
I love the color. Nice.
This is my signature outfit whenever I'm doing something for the soldiers. Usually this is what I usually wear. So
yeah. I love it. You're always fab all around. So
are you, honey. Thank you.
Takes one to know one, right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving us your time today. And onesoldier.net, onesoldieratatime.net again is the link, the website that if you all could please go and make your donations and support this lovely cause and this lovely woman and our veterans. So thank you again, Lauren. We're going to bring back Essra to close us out with one song. And yeah, I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. God bless.
God bless. Bye. Essra, are you ready?
Yeah, I just unmuted. Give me a second here. Oh, I spent this whole time trying to figure out how to put this music stand together. It's falling as I speak.
So what song are you going to perform for us this time?
Well, I'm trying to get it together to perform this new song for you.
Ooh.
I don't know what's going on here. I think I have to tighten this. All right, it's a little, as we say, facocked. So facocked that the lyrics just slid right off the music stand. A lot of good that's going to do. Okay. We'll see.
And just to mention to you all back home, this is Essra's. I mean, you said that this performance overall today has kind of brought you out of the woodworks again, right?
It's true. It's true. Well, I wasn't. Oh God, there. Give me a second here. I'm going to figure this out, and I'm going to play this. This is a brand new song. Well, I can't say brand new. This is one of. This was the main song that I. Oh, there we go. There we go. I have to tighten that. I think that'll work. And it was going to be the title of the album that I was going to record this year. It's called Hindsight is 2020. You were asking me about things I regret. Let me move this back a little bit like so. And I should be room to grab my guitar, which I so carefully left on the floor. Let's hope I can do this now. Here's the only thing. I haven't been playing a lot of guitar lately. And you did think that I could have used all this extra time to be playing music, but no, there's a million other things I had to deal with. And it's one after another, between the car dying and having to get a new car and losing the license, having to get a new license.
It's always something.
And then, of course, there was taxes. Remember those back in July? And anyway, and next thing you know, it was the election.
Yeah.
And that's not over, but it is, but it ain't. So hindsight is 2020. And I was going to say this at the end, but I'll say it now before I do it, because I'll end with the song. And that when I wrote this, I didn't realize just how much we'd all be looking forward to be looking back on 2020.
Yeah. It's for sure.
When you look back, it's so easy to see wrong turns that were taken, some by you and some by me. Could have had true love and been rolling in money. Oh, baby, hindsight is 2020. It's 2020. Hindsight is 2020. Oh, baby, yeah, listen. The world was my oyster, and I was just starting out. So full of faith and hope, didn't have a single doubt. Nobody warned me about snakes hidden in the grass. My mama always told me I trusted way too fast. I thought all my dreams were destined to come true, including true love, which brings me to you. Yeah, baby. Could have had true love and been rolling in money. Oh, baby. Hindsight is 2020. It's 2020. Hindsight is 2020. It's 2020. Then I'd say there's some kind of a bridge here. Oh yeah. Guess I had to learn the hard way. Oh man, when to say no and when to agree. Too many times I had it in reverse. Too bad life ain't something we can rehearse. You know it ain't, but looking back, it's so easy to see. Wrong turns were taken, some by you and some by me. You could have had true love and been rolling in money. Oh, baby, hey. Hindsight is 2020. It's 2020. Hindsight, it's 2020. It's 2020. Hindsight, it's 2020. It's 2020. Hindsight, it's 2020. It's 2020. Hindsight.
Bravo, Essra. Thank you so much for sharing your music with us and your heart and spirit. You're a wonderful person. I'm lucky to have had this interview with you. So thank you. And make sure you all back home, again, like Essra Mohawk Music on Facebook. And I really recommend checking her out. Just type her in a Google search. And I mean, her career is mind blowing. It's really fun to research. So thank you, Essra.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. I want to leave you all off with my final thought. Right? 'Tis the season of giving, right? Today we celebrate the courageous and selfless souls that put their lives at risk so that we can all carry on with our lives. Thanksgiving and Christmas are just around the corner. I mean, not to be a Debbie Downer or anything, but does anyone else feel a slight disappointment in humanity when acknowledging the fact that we actually need designated holidays to thank our veterans, to show our loved ones that we love them, and even just to acknowledge the power of giving and the everyday blessings we take for granted? I mean, what if we began changing that right now? Can we make it a habit and a priority to practice these very same things that we celebrate only on the holidays every single day? Never underestimate the power of a kind gesture, as we are living in a time where compassion is
Amen.
crucial. Thank you. We bring more meaning and fulfillment to our lives when we project kindness to the universe. Collectively, our individual efforts can make a big splash, and we can create an environment which we can all positively thrive. The lasting impression our positive contributions can bring to the greater whole can be incredibly impactful and contagious. Let's start a movement. Give a bit more of your heart, and together, let's work towards the common goal of leaving this world much better than we found it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you to Beau, Ryan. Thank you to our veterans. I hope you enjoy your day today. Afternoon Cocktail is now available on all podcasting platforms, so make sure you catch up on your inspiration and keep spreading good energy to those around you. We will see you back here this Friday. You all have a great day. Thank you.